Well, hi everyone. Welcome to another episode of Women Like Me Stories in Business. I'm your host, Julie Fairhurst, and today I have an extraordinary woman with us. I'm really excited to have this conversation. We are joined by the remarkable Carina, yay, Groombridge, a certified mindset and success coach, devoted mother of three, and a dynamic host of the podcast, You Are Your Biggest Asset. So I thought I love the name of that. Love the name of that podcast. Karina's path is nothing short of inspiring, transitioning from a mechanical engineering career to an empowering woman to build a thriving business without sacrificing their well being. So, you specialize in helping ambitious women. Well, we have a lot of ambitious women that are listening or watching on YouTube. So thank you so much for being here. And would you like to tell the audience just a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah. So first, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and chat with you and the audience. A little bit more about me. I know you mentioned it in the intro. I'm actually a mom of four now, so I should probably update some of my content there. But mom of four now,
Wow.
and I I'm just obsessed with what I do. I absolutely love it. And it's so rewarding to see the changes in my clients, to see the results that they're able to create. And I'm happy to dive into all of the nitty-gritty of how I got here, of, things that I help with. So
Perfect. Perfect. And you're in Montreal.
I am in
Yeah.
Montreal.
So we've got two Canadian gals chatting.
There we go.
Okay. Well, why don't we start with you were in what kind of engineering were you doing?
Yeah, so I studied mechanical engineering, which is totally opposite to coaching.
Yeah.
Very much
Yes.
like, numbers to turning to people. What I like to say is I've really just taken my problem solving skills and
Mm.
numbers and like all of it, and now I get to apply it to people. And personally, I love it. I love being able to like look at what someone has built, what they're looking to build, where they want to go, and really connect the dots of like, okay, this is what needs to happen to get you there. And
Ah,
sometimes it's strategies. A lot of the time, it's mindset. It's what's going on in your head
yes.
to help you get there,
Oh
which
my, oh
is
my
something that
goodness.
I had to learn because coming
Mm.
from engineering, that you don't get taught that.
No, no. And this is, yeah, like you say, completely different. But I can see though what you're saying
Mm.
about the mechanical part of how it all works and numbers and stuff. And now you're taking those skills and now you're using them for betterment of
Yes,
women.
exactly. Got to like
Yes.
raise up all the women. Oh my gosh, like
Yes. That's
so,
perfect.
so love that.
Yeah. Okay. So you've mentioned being a recovering perfectionist. What is that all about?
Yes. So for me, before kids, before the business, I was very much like, you know, everything needed to be a certain way and I wanted things to go my way and all of that comes with, wanting to dot all the T's and like dot all the I's, cross all the T's. And letting go of the perfection is something that I had to work on. I mean, if you're a mom, then kids are not going to do everything you want them to do. It's not going to be
Hmm.
as clean. It's not going to be as like cookie cutter as if you're living on your own. But between that and business, it's been a process of letting go and letting things be okay with the imperfection. And I've noticed, especially in business, like you need to just run with it and go.
Hmm.
Because if you're waiting on perfection, this is something I talk about with my clients all the time of like, oh, but I haven't tested this or I haven't done all of my research. My God. Like I love and hate research at the same time. Most of the time, people will just use it as like a crutch to say, well, I still need to research. I don't know enough. It's really, really easy to justify that. And there's so much information out there that you can go and pull from. But really, what just needs to happen is you need to take action and go and then figure it out.
You are so right. As you were speaking, I was remembering the very first book I ever did because I've got 38 books done now with over 180 women. And the very first one I did, because I'm not very detail orientated, so that's not good when you're writing books. And so the very first book I did, I had a lady, kind lady, uh, message me and say, "Did you know you have 165 errors in your book?" And at first I was like, oh, and then I thought to myself, this is my first book. I'm just learning. And now I dare you to find an error in one of my books. But I had to let that go. Oh, because that could have stopped me in my tracks.
Absolutely. And I'm sure it would stop most people in their tracks. And I love
Yeah.
that you were kind of like, okay, like I can't do anything about that now. Like, let's keep going. And
Yeah.
that's part of the mentality. And for me, that's like letting go of the perfection of like, okay, like there's gonna be mistakes. Like for me, when I put out posts or content or whatever, like there's probably gonna be spelling mistakes because I don't want to reread it 5 times and then probably still not catch it.
Yeah.
I would rather just put it out and be like, if you can't deal with spelling mistakes, like it's fine. You're not my person. That's not a problem.
That's right. Absolutely. And that's I learned that because everybody wants it perfect.
Mhm.
But it never is going to be perfect. That's the thing. Like it just
Yep.
won't be. There will always be something else. So you just got to go with the 165 errors in your book.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But see, the errors that this person called out, like that's one piece of it. But
Yeah,
imagine if you were sitting there going like, oh, but I didn't say this. Oh, but I don't like how this turned out. And like that's a whole nother,
that's right. You're
road that we can
right.
go down that you could
Yeah.
have stopped yourself to be like, oh, but I didn't like this and I didn't like that and like criticize. But instead you were like, nope, next, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. Just learn and move on. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So what a lot of women struggle with people-pleasing behaviors. So what strategy do you recommend for them to break the patterns of people-pleasing?
Mm.
That's a hard one for us women.
Yes. And I feel like I don't have a short answer to that. I wish I did. I wish I did. Um, and I feel like the in its simplest, like if we like boil it down, it's really letting go of what other people think and like letting their what we think that they are thinking impact us.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Because
I
most of the time, like we don't actually know what they're thinking, but we assume it. And then we kind of like project it on them, like, oh, like they're gonna think this, so I can't take this action. But at the
yeah.
end of the day, it's your life. It's your story you're writing. And that person isn't paying the bills. They're not living in your shoes. They're not dealing with what you have to deal with.
Yeah.
And for me, boundaries is a really big thing because I wouldn't have been able to start my business if it wasn't for putting in place boundaries because I
Yes.
had all of the hats,
Yes,
3 children
exactly.
in diapers in that age at that time. And it was like, no, we need to put in place boundaries. We need to not like let go of the people pleasing because otherwise it's just not going to happen.
Yes. Yes. Oh, yes. Good for you. That's boundaries are so, so important. So you we'll keep talking about motherhood here and entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So how do you manage your time and to be able to excel in both of those roles?
Yeah. That's a good question. So, um, I think that it helps me that I've created a business that can work around my schedule. Like this was part of the intention when I tried to figure this out is it works around or I fit it around what I need it to. So on the days if, the kids are sick or if there's a doctor's appointment or, life happens, then I arrange my schedule accordingly. And typically I don't have things that can't be moved. That, or if
Mm.
when I do, then, I got my backup systems in place and all sorted out. But what it looks like right now is my kids go to elementary school and daycare, and I work during the days. So I work when they're in school and taken care of, and maybe like a couple of odds and ends, here and there. But when I started, when they were in diapers, it looked like, um, taking a call with my baby.
Yes, absolutely. And why not?
Well, exactly. And that
Yes.
was, I had to shift my mind around that because I was coming from like the corporate space of, professionalism looks like
Hmm.
this. And,
Yes.
you should look in a certain way and do certain things. And when I had my fourth baby, I had my business at that point. So I didn't take as long at maternity leave. We're both in Canada, so like maternity leave looks different here.
Yeah.
But I didn't take as long of a typical maternity leave. But once I did start working, she was with me and I had support. I had my mother-in-law to help me. But for the most part, she was here. So if I was
Yes.
like doing something on the computer, she could be playing and that's fine. If I was on calls, like I'd have my mother-in-law help me if she could. And it just looked different.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. But
you know,
but it doesn't have to stop us.
no, absolutely not.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like I definitely come with the mentality of like, yes, I want to figure this out. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
Versus I can't, and take myself out of whatever.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So tell us what you do for women. How do you
Oh,
help us?
ooh, okay. So let's see. How do I help? I help you manage your brain. And what I mean
Mm.
by that is like I work with so many brilliant, talented women. And and when I say we, I mean humans in general,
Hmm.
what we tend to do is get in our own way. And this is not intentional. Nobody wants to, stop yourself from creating big success or stop yourself from, you know, eh, going after the thing that you want. We don't do it consciously. We don't do it intentionally, but we'll put in place kind of these filters and barriers that keep us safe. And those things can look like procrastinating or perfectionism or, self-sabotaging or being like, oh, I can't because I have the kids today, or, that's just not possible for me. And I help you overcome that. Like I help you see what is standing in your way and help you move through it. Because oftentimes, like those those things are going to come up and they can come up at all the different levels. It doesn't matter if you're, you know, uh, you've reached a certain point in your business or your career and you're like, this is amazing, but you still want to keep going. You Those tendencies can still come back. Like if you're thinking, oh, well, it's not enough, or I don't have enough time or enough money or enough, you name it. There's a million different kind of offshoots of that.
When you're
Uh,
talking, I'm thinking to myself, everything you're explaining is maybe fear-based.
mhm. Yeah. And the thing is, when we do the scary things and put ourselves out there, it kind of like opens us up to be vulnerable, to be, to have people come at us. It's kind of like celebrities. I mean, they kind of get shoved into this, but celebrities, like they'll be in the public eye and not everybody is going to like them. And they're going to throw stones and they're going to say things.
Hmm.
And some people might get there and be like, like this is what I thought, like let's hide. Or you kind of stay hidden because on some level you're afraid to get there. Like imagine, Oprah. Like I feel like she's like a generally liked person,
Yes.
but there's for sure, what I hate Oprah club out there.
Yes. I know a lady that hates Oprah, and I'm
Yeah,
just like, why? I think she's spectacular. But
I
yes.
know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But all of that to say, like, if Oprah let that get to her, like the people who
Mm,
are like, "Oh, what are you doing?" Like, you know, you're not worth my time, whatever. If she let people get to her, then she would not have gotten to the point that she's at. She wouldn't be able to have
right.
created what she has created.
Right.
But most
Right.
of the time, like that, the things that are stopping us they're not super obvious most of the
Mhm.
time. And sometimes they are, and we just don't know how to move past them.
Yeah. Yeah, I belong to quite a few networking groups in my area, and you can hear that when people are like, just so many little things that they put a wall up to sort of stop, and but fear-based, I think, is probably most of it, is what's
Mhm.
coming up, and fear of judgment for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I have a background, 34 years of sales and marketing, of which I retired last year. And so, when you're in sales, excuse me, you have a lot of rejection. So when
Mhm.
I got the email about the 165 errors in my book, my first thought was, my goodness, she counted them all.
Nice. I
Wow,
love it.
that's a lot. Wow. But you
I
gotta
love that
work.
that was your first thought, but you
Yeah.
like you built that up. Like you built up
Yes.
the thick skin, as people call it,
Yes.
of
And
like, this is not going
so
to bug me.
and well, it does bug me, but I know that you have to do what you have to do to get there.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I was in real estate, and I remember I couldn't look, and I stopped myself from reading the real estate newspapers, because all, oh, 20 listings and all this and all these awards and blah blah blah. And I remember it would shrink me,
Mm.
and it would make me feel inferior because I wasn't that good yet. And then, and so I told myself, I'm not reading these magazines or these newspapers anymore. And I just
Yeah.
stopped. And I think that for me was a huge lesson. Just
Mhm.
focus, focus, focus. Don't look at what everybody else is doing. Don't focus on what's going to make you feel less, and
I love
just
it.
and move ahead.
Yeah, I actually find there's two ways to go about that. And like you chose one path of like, I'm just gonna put up a barrier, I'm not gonna look at it. And the other path is to change your mind about it. Like to be able to look at it and see something differently. Now, I don't encourage that every time.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's just easier to like, blinders on, like I'm just not gonna look there.
Yeah.
But for the cases or the instances where we can't just shut it off,
Yes.
right? Like maybe it's a loved one who every time you talk about your business, they, shut it down or they're not encouraging or whatnot. Sometimes we can't always just put up those barriers,
No, you
and
can't.
sometimes you have to work to shift how you're thinking about it. So I
Hmm.
I just wanted to point out like there's kind of like the two different paths you can go down. There isn't one right or
Yes.
wrong, but
Yes.
there's two options available.
Well, absolutely. If you're dealing with family members and you're hearing, go get a real job and what are you doing and all of that kind of stuff, yeah, you can't put the blinders up, because that's just going to create more friction. Yeah.
I would say in that case, boundaries.
Boundaries.
Like
Boundaries.
we want to put up like boundaries, put those out there.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
But
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So what are some common limiting beliefs that you help your clients reframe?
Good one. Okay. So the fear of failure is a big one. Like the kind of striving, wanting to strive for more, but being afraid that you're going to fall. This
Mm.
is this is a common one. Another one that I talk a lot about is this idea of being enough. So whether it's being enough or having enough, enough time, enough money, enough resources, and we can kind of get stuck in that like it's not enough zone, if you will. And if you can't figure out how to move past it, then it doesn't matter what level you get to. Like, the next level, as you climb the ladder, so to speak, whether that's in business or life or whatnot, it'll just keep coming back. So what we do together is to support you to overcome that limit, that barrier. And sometimes that'll look like changing it forever and never getting to that point again. And sometimes it'll look like being like, oh, okay, I see what's happening here. And I see how this like not enough is coming up again as I've reached this new level. And like, okay, here's how I'm going to deal with it. And here's what I'm going to do next.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So strategies,
yes,
very strategic.
strategic, it's
Mm-hmm.
understanding your brain. And
Mm-hmm.
so much of it is just the awareness of what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of the time we can't see it. But for me as a coach, it's really easy for me to see it in my clients, in, whoever whoever comes into my orbit. Like I can see what needs to shift for you so that you can continue to move further faster. And that's the part that I really like can pull out and give you strategies and tools for.
And isn't that really the essence of coaching? What you just said
Mhm.
is that we go in blocked
Yeah.
and 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 you are able to see the whole picture and then help us to gently or not gently, whatever that person needs, but to start to unravel those blocks.
Yes,
Yeah. What do you
exactly.
think about belief systems from families and those kinds of things? Do you is there do you find that many of your clients struggle with those kinds of blocked or limiting beliefs?
I think we all carry something with us from, childhood, from all of the experiences that, we've had up until now in our lives.
Yeah.
And for me, is it serving you or is it not? And if it's not serving you, like, because we all have it, we all have, we see different things, we've heard different things, we've experienced different things.
Mhm.
And it's just, is it helping you to get where you want to go or is it hurting you? And if it's hurting you, then it can be changed, like it can be shifted. And that it comes from like having a growth mindset of you're not fixed in a certain way. Like if you have always thought, I don't know, like, oh, I'm not a morning person. If you've always thought that up until now, on an offer that you could change that if you wanted to. Like
Yes.
this was literally something I had to change for myself because I had kids, I had a corporate job, I had my business. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a morning person right now because
Yes.
like
Life
this
says
is
so.
when exactly
Yeah.
like this is the season in my life that I'm gonna
Ah,
figure this out.
wow.
So yeah.
Yeah, I love how you said you can change it if you want to. And it's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
And
so true.
we just forget that
Yes.
it's not actually set in stone. And
Hmm.
also another thing that I wanted to share with your audience is th- everything that runs through our head, it's not truth. We take it as truth, but it's not actually like facts. Like if you went to a judge and a jury and you shared what's going on in your brain, they'd be like, that's nice. It's not a fact. Like it's a fact that, it's whatever temperature outside. And that is something that can be proven. But all of that stuff
Hmm.
that's like swirling around in your brain, most of it, majority of it is not actually truth, but we take it in and like we absorb it as if it is. So I just wanted to offer that, like,
Yes.
you could test that.
Yes. I always tell my my boys, that's not that's your perception.
Mhm.
That's not necessarily true. It's
Yeah.
how we see it. And you see that in siblings as they get older and they've got the sibling rivalry we got going on at our house. And but it's that's just your perception of what happened. But I can tell
Mhm.
you that's not really what happened. And
Yeah.
so I think it's sorry, I just was thinking about a stepsister of mine because my mom went through a trauma, and you can see the Julie Fairhurst story behind me there. And I wrote my own my life story, and my stepsister read it, and she messaged me, and she said, "How come I didn't know about this?" And I said, well, I don't know, because you were young, and there was things we don't talk about, and then she said something to me that just blew my mind. She said, I thought she hated me. And
Yeah.
I said, she didn't hate you. She hated herself. But the wake up call for me was we just go on through life. We have no thinking everybody's okay and this is good and this is good, but their perception. So she didn't understand why my mom was the way she was. So she just assumed her perception was something completely different, which now she understands was not true. And hopefully she can heal from that. But to think that she went on 20, 25, 30 years thinking that. And so, yeah, like we need to question ourselves sometimes.
Especially for the things that aren't serving us. Like if
Yes.
something's like really like eating at you or really bugging you, maybe it doesn't actually have to be that way. And this is one of the things that always makes my clients laugh. When we talk about putting in place boundaries and like what do we need to clean up, especially like in business terms, but also in life terms. And I always ask them, like, what's bugging you? Like, what's the thing that's really like, meh, like
Yeah.
nagging at you? And oftentimes, most people have like, it's like an instant, oh, that, that thing.
Yeah.
And that's where we start because that's the thing that they think maybe can't change or that they think is, this big, enormous problem when really it just takes a few tweaks. And they're like, oh my God, this is so much better. Like, why didn't I do this earlier?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. We could just make it way more than it really is. So, for women that are feeling overwhelmed by starting their business or scaling their business, what initial steps would you suggest that they should take?
Hmm. Uh, the thing that I like to do, if it's like just me sitting down with a pen and paper, is I like to just kind of get it all out and write out like, oh, well, I'm overwhelmed with this and there's this and like basically like brain dump everything that's going on. Um, and then I kind of just like let it sit for a minute.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like this is, what's going on. This is what's happening. And usually what I try to do next is say, okay, like how can I make this easier on myself? Like, how could this look differently? Maybe something can be paused. Maybe, you can ask for support. Um, maybe you just need to get up and go for a walk. Like literally. One of the things that I'll teach on is really changing your state. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're like stressed or anxious or whatever it is, like physically get up, move, do something different so that you can clear your head. And when you come back to sit down after you've, dumped out everything in your brain, then it's like you're looking at it with fresh eyes. And I mean, I can give like, there's like an endless amount of things that you can do to support yourself between going and talking to, like, call a friend, be like, hey, I need to vent, or go for a walk, or have a bath, whatever thing that works for you. Um, but taking the time to do that and then coming back to whatever it is that you're working on and going, okay, like, I got this, I can do this. And
Hmm.
it really helps to kind of like calm your nervous system and just like chill a little bit
Yeah.
when you're feeling that overwhelmed.
Yeah. And I think too that we as women tend to do or want to do everything, and I've recently had to learn that it's easier to reach out for help on the things that you're struggling with. So I can do some pretty techie things these days. It took me a long time to get there, but I'm okay. I'm not perfect, but I got some stuff going on. But when it takes me 4 days of my precious time to figure out something technical with a website, and then I get a hold of somebody and say, "Can you fix this?" and they have it done in 3 hours, we
Yep.
need to let go,
Yes.
because that
Absolutely.
brings me down. And now that's put me back on what I'm not on track. I'm frustrated. And,
But
but
you're also working, like you're not working in your genius zone, right? Like you're kind of like
no,
playing over here and that's nice. Like you could do it, you could figure it out. You're a smart person. But if you just delegated that to begin with, then you would keep that bandwidth for the things that you are really good at and that you
yes,
enjoy and that like fill you up.
Yes. I love that. Do you help women find what they're a genius at?
I can do that. Oftentimes when women come to me, they kind of like they've got that down and they're like, all right, this is where I want to go. But if anyone who's listening is like kind of feeling lost, kind of feeling like they're not sure, this is literally what I had to do for myself. Because
Yeah.
had you asked me 10 years ago, what do you want to do with your life? I would have said, I don't know. Like, what are you passionate about? I don't know.
Yeah.
And I did not have an answer. And it was only when I had kids that I was like, you know what? Like, I need to figure this out. Like, because I
Yes.
don't have an answer. And that is not good enough. If I want to teach my little people to follow their dreams and do something that they love and, make money and support people, like, I need to figure out how to do all that.
Yes.
So, if anyone is listening, going like, oh, like, I need to figure it out for myself, like, yes, I can help you with this, please.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you need that kind of kick in the butt or like light bulb moment to be like, okay, I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah. I think that there's that with such a population of baby boomers out there that are all in the, retiring,
Mhm.
uh, it's now what do I do? And I think
Oh,
that,
yes.
and I think what I want to say is like, oh my goodness, you have so much wisdom and so much life experience that if like you said, what is your passion? And then go with that.
Mhm.
There's so much.
There is so much. And
Oh,
like
there's so much.
also not get caught up in the I'm too old or I don't
Mhm.
know
Yeah.
or I'm not good at this. Like th those are just all ways that we can limit ourselves
Yeah.
rather than saying like, I really want to figure that out or I really want to, go do
Yes.
this thing.
Yes. Yeah. I remember when I hit my 25-year mark in my career, being burnt out and, oh, what am I going to do? What can I possibly do other than what I'm doing? I've been doing it for 25 years, living, breathing it. I don't have a college diploma degree, PhD. Like, what could I possibly do to replace my income and blah, 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 blah. And I really struggled with what to do. And then I would never have thought in a million trillion years that this is what I would be doing. So I just, I'm encouraging everybody that might be listening to contact you and sit down and get you to help them flush it out.
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
there's stuff. We all got good stuff. You just need to flush it out.
You need to get it out. Exactly.
Need
And
to
I can
get it
tell
out.
you, it's not a straightforward path. It's not like, oh, here's your answer on a
Yeah.
silver platter. That's not how it works. But you do just need to start taking action towards figuring it out.
Yes, yes. And I think, and isn't that the key? Just taking action, even baby
Mhm.
steps,
Yeah.
one step at a time. Just get out there and start doing it.
But even if it's not the quote unquote right thing or right direction, you can take it as information, as data to be like, okay, I don't like this thing. And it actually helps you get closer to the thing that you do like.
When I first thought of writing, or well, I was told that I should be writing, but anyway, I thought I needed to write sales books for salespeople and coach salespeople, and I did do that, and I still write sales books more for female entrepreneurs now, but that wasn't what I was supposed to do. This is what I was supposed to do, women's stories. But so it's so true what you just said. Like it made me go, oh yeah. Yeah, it just you're going to be led into where you should be. If or you can go kicking and screaming.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
Or not go at all, like not
or
take the
not go at
action.
all. And that's sad. To me,
I know.
that's sad. Yeah, yeah. Wow. Well, I have really enjoyed our conversation thus far. Now, I love to ask my podcast guests a few questions just to get them to know them a little bit better. Do you mind if I throw them at you?
Of course, let's go.
Okay, all right, here we go. So, my first question is if you could travel anywhere in the world tomorrow, where would you go and why would you go there?
Oh, I honestly, there's so many things on my travel list. Oh, it's so good. Such a good question. I can name you like 20 places. Mm, I would say probably Fiji, to those little huts that have like the
Oh,
glass bottoms and that you can see the water underneath. That's always been on the bucket list. Haven't made it that far yet, but
that's on my bucket list. I haven't got there yet either, but oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh, I can
I
feel
know.
it. I can
Like
feel
it
I
just like
one
sitting by
day.
the water and like
Oh,
relaxing. But
oh,
that sounds absolutely lovely right now. Although I
oh,
have taken a lot of trips that were like crazy adventure travel, which I also love. So it just depends on the day.
yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay. So what's your favorite way to unwind after a busy day? And I'm really interested in hearing this because you have a busy day every day.
I do have a busy day every day.
Yeah.
That is a great question. I find it's something that, I don't get to take too much time for myself. Usually I will either go out and take a walk. Doesn't happen too much at the end of the day. Usually that's like a middle of the day kind of thing. Go out and take a walk or call my friends or probably like sit with my journal and write. Those are
Ah,
those are like my go-tos.
yeah. Yeah. Just like mentally.
Yes, it mentally
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
from the day.
exactly. Yeah. Okay. So do you have a favorite motivational quote that keeps you going?
I'm usually terrible with quotes. There is one that I like, which is also applicable, also appropriate because, Canadian. But Wayne Gretzky, and you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Oh my goodness. I
Yeah,
love that one.
yeah,
Yes.
it's a good
And
one.
that is the truth,
Hmm.
even in
Hmm.
hockey.
Well, I mean, in hockey and in life, right? Like
Yes.
you miss 100% of the things you don't take action on. So,
Oh,
yes.
love that. Love that. I needed to hear that one today. So that's a good one. Okay. What about a favorite book that inspires you?
Oh, so many good ones. Mm, I like Think and Grow Rich. That was a good
Mm,
one.
that's my favorite.
Very good. Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, love it. Love that one.
Nice.
It was written a long time ago, but the truths, the lessons, it's just amazing. It's amazing that he was thinking like that way back then.
I know,
Just
right? I listened
yeah.
to it on audio because
Oh,
I find
yes.
it for me it's easier when you're like doing the
Yes.
dishes, walking, whatever. But yeah, that's
Hmm.
definitely a good one.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, two more. If you could have dinner with any woman in history, who would it be and why?
Ooh, any woman in history. Oh, that opens the door to like so many brilliant women. Um, I would probably say Taylor Swift right now. And I'm not even like a huge Swiftie, but I just admire so much of what she has built and the devoted fans and how she has, gone and marketed herself and just shown up. And because I believe, I don't know her, but I just feel like she's like a genuinely good human as well,
Hmm.
which for
Hmm.
me, like this is an important part.
Oh, no,
Like,
of course. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And I watched her documentary. Did you see it?
Documentary or like the show?
Oh, maybe it was the show. I don't know, but it was like a document, but it was about her life. I don't know. Maybe it was a show.
Okay.
Yeah, it was on Netflix. But um, she had to have a lot of oomph inside of her when that
Mhm.
happened, when she won that first award. And what's his name rudely came up on stage and took the microphone and said Beyonce should have. I mean, that could have crushed anybody. And I think it did crush her for a little while.
I mean,
Yeah.
that would be normal, but it's how you bounce back. That's the part that really matters.
Yes, absolutely. Yes,
Huh.
absolutely. Okay. And the last one, if you could whisper one truth in the ear of every woman who's struggling right now, what would you say?
Hmm. You're so much more capable than you give yourself credit for.
Oh,
Uh,
don't we all need to hear that?
I know, right?
All of us, all of us. Oh, that's love that one. Well, I've just enjoyed this so much. And oh, I just want to mention one more thing. One more thing before we go. Your podcast is called
Yes.
You Are Your Biggest Asset Podcast. Now, I think I know, is why, but why did you name that your biggest asset? You
Yeah.
were your biggest asset.
So this is something that I've talked about for years because I mean, what I work with women is on their brain. And I truly like 100% believe that we, you are your biggest asset. Like we are all our own biggest asset. And no matter how smart, no matter how knowledgeable, no matter how capable you are, if you're not treating yourself like your biggest asset, and I mean, I'm a mom of four and like wear all the hats, I know how easy it is to put yourself last and to, serve yourself last and get dressed last and be out the door. Like I know how it works.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, this is like a reminder to all of the women out there, you are your biggest asset. And if you want to, reach the success, whether that's financial or personal or whatever that you are after, it starts with you, like
Mm-hmm.
first and foremost. So that is where that title comes from. And it's really the podcast is really designed to support women in business who are looking to scale, who do want to, grow and expand and put more good out into the world. And I want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself along the way because that's what's going to result in, the growth in everything that you want to bring to life. And I've seen this on repeat with all of my clients where they actually have more time for themselves. They actually take better care of themselves and they're seeing bigger results. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not magic. It sounds magical when you're like in it, but
Yes.
but this can be possible for everyone and that's what I want to bring the audience into.
I love that. So needed.
Mhm.
So needed. Well, everyone, if you want to speak to Carina, then what you need to do is go to the details section of our podcast and our YouTube page, and you will find details there on how to reach out to her. We'll make sure that her podcast link is there as well. So if you want to reach out to her, you want to find out more about how she can help you, or just tune into the podcast, you'll be able to do that there. Well, I really appreciated you doing this. Is there any last words you'd like to say out there to the
Oh,
listeners?
the only thing that comes to my mind is like, I love you and keep going.
Oh,
Like, you got this.
oh, beautiful.
Oh,
Thank you. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in again to the Women Like Me Stories in Business podcast. And if you've tuned in, make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you again next time. Bye, everybody.